Yeah, now there's every studio. I mean, every distributor in the country wanted the picture, they all wanted it. But when the legal department saw the picture, they said layoff. When we think about a manly, rugged man, the first person that comes to mind is none other than Charles Bronson himself. He was a man who proved himself to the world and made everyone acknowledge the fact that hard work will always give you the power to change your life. But what if we told you that there was a part of him so controversial that the whole world got crazy over it, and even his daughter confirmed it? What was? The secret to find out first, we need to understand Charles Bronson's beginnings in the year 1921. A baby entered the world in Scooptown, which was a coal mining town in Pennsylvania. He was named Charles, and his upbringing was done in the middle of a struggle to make ends meet. He was raised by poverty and challenges as his family faced the challenges of living in a coal mining community. Bronson was just 10 years old when his hero died. His father passed away, succumbing to a lung disease that he got from years of working in the mines. This early loss left a permanent impact on young Charles. It was because of this event that got him into the world of responsibility and hard work. At a very small age he was the 11th child out of 15 siblings, so he grew up in a crowded and financially unstable household where resources were scarce, and every penny was an asset. The poverty that shadowed Bronson's childhood was so traumatizing, evident in the struggle his family faced to provide even the necessities to themselves. At just the age of 6, he had to experience first-hand humiliation when he was denied the right to self-respect. He had to wear hand-me-down clothes on his first day of school. Not just normal hand-me-down clothes. It was the used clothes that were including a dress passed down from an older sister. Quite away from the persona we have of him, right? This early experience left a lasting impression on Bronson. Maybe it was the very thing that made him a man that we knew by the time he reached his teenage years. Bronson had found himself withering away in the coal mine. She was such a bright lad that he was laboring in the dark and cramped tunnels for insignificant wages. Maybe the money we think is insignificant would feel like a fortune to him at that time, but still he had to work by burning his blood and sweat. The backbreaking work took a toll on his young body and left him with calloused hands and scars that always remained on his body, serving as a reminder of the harsh conditions he had endured in his childhood. But despite all of this, Bronson kept working, so that he could change his life, and the life of his family. Life in Scooptown started with the horn of labor and ended with the whip of cramps. Everyone lived the life of the same grind, where families like the Binsky struggled to scoop out a living from the harsh realities of coal mining life. Bronson's upbringing in poverty left an incurable mark on his psyche, which made him shape his worldview and form a deep-seated understanding of the value of hard work and determination. These early experiences were the things that would later serve as a source of inspiration for his iconic portrayals of gritty and determined characters on screen. It was the poverty that surrounded Bronson during his childhood years that also fueled his ambition to escape the cage of his upbringing and seek a better life that was way beyond the coal mine of Pennsylvania, and it was a life that was alongside the stars that shone in the brightest nights. Despite the challenges he faced, Bronson protected his dreams of a brighter future. So it started the hunger to carve out a path of success for himself. Even though Charles was poor and did not have food to eat, even though he was empty of wallet, he was never empty of heart. Beneath the hunger pangs and bruises on his body was a child that loved his country. The spirit of patriotism in the boy was remarkable. So when the attacks on Pearl Harbor happened, the spirit of patriotism in his body rose. In 1943, Bronson's life took a new turn when he was called up to serve in the Army during World War II. While many of his colleagues saw combat directly from the front lines, Bronson's military experience took a different turn. He was trained as a gunner in Arizona, and he got a role that was essential to the war. but it was a post where Charles was luckily not exposed to the same dangers that were faced by his fellow infantry soldiers. Even though he did not see active combat, Bronson's time in the military undoubtedly left a lasting impression on him that might have helped him in his future after the war ended with the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Bronson decided to move towards a new chapter in his life. It was him changing his life from the coal mines to the military barracks, and now to the bright lights of Hollywood. While he may have left the army behind, the discipline, camaraderie, and sense of duty were permanently carved in his soul. It was because of these things being a part of his character that he got to be such a great actor. Bronson's military service also provided him with valuable skills and experiences that we see throughout his acting career. His training as a gunner may not have directly helped him dominate the silver screen, but the discipline and determination that he developed during his time in the military surely contributed to his success as an actor, and Bronson's experience to the severities of military life may have also influenced his portrayal of tough, uncompromising characters on screen that further sharpened his authenticity and depth to the performances. Now that he was released from the military, he now had a choice to either go back to his life as a coal miner that worked for a meager wage, or finally be something else, something more. Maybe it was the first time he was given the choice of what he wanted to do. And so he did. He chose what his heart said, and finally started to chase his dream of living with the stars. So he ended up in Hollywood. Despite the challenges he faced, Bronson's life took a new direction after World War II, when he pursued a career in acting. His transition into acting wasn't instant. Instead, it was a gradual process that began with odd jobs and small roles. In films, initially he was known as Charles Binsky, and later, when he thought that his name was not celebrity enough, he'd opted the stage name Charles Bronson, a decision that was also influenced by the fear and paranoia that was surrounding communism during that era. Bronson's early career was solely made by his sheer will and determination. He took on various roles, like he often portrayed the tough, uncompromising characters, and these roles resonated with audiences. His distinctive voice and rugged appearance has set him apart from the typical leading men of his time, and that earned him the recognition he needed for paving his way for future success. Now that Bronson was gaining gradual momentum in the industry, he started to be known for his ability to bring depth and authenticity to his roles. Despite his tough on-screen persona, he was a versatile actor capable of portraying a wide range of characters, from gritty fighters to desperate prisoners of war. Bronson's performances enchanted audiences, and that solidified his status as a Hollywood star. One of Bronson's most memorable roles came in 1963 when he portrayed the character Off-Flight Lieutenant Danny Tunnel King Valinsky in The Great Escape. It was a character that was supposed to dig out a tunnel from the prison cell. But the thing is that Charles had developed claustrophobia, and just digging in a closed space, even on camera, took a lot out of him. But he was not the kind of man who would give up an opportunity even though he had a problem due to his fears. Bronson delivered a mind-blowing performance that impressed a huge audience and further established his reputation as a remarkable actor. But life as an actor was not all happiness for him either. Bronson's change into acting wasn't without its challenges. He faced criticism and skepticism from some underachieving people in the industry. They dared to question his suitability for leading roles, even though he was a man who came all this way solely by hard work and merit. He was a man who overcame disasters. Just as a 10-year-old child was not someone who would cower before this industry-bred cartoons, Bronson remained undiscouraged. And just by using his talents and determination, he proved his critics wrong. His hard work paid off as he continued to land roles in increasingly high-profile films that made everyone hail him as a star in Hollywood history. Throughout his career, Bronson remained true to himself. Hafton felt that he might drown in thirst for fame and love like his other fellow stars, so he never wanted to forget his past. So when he got tired of all the fame and brightness of being a celebrity, he used to let loose. Sometimes, even though the world only knew his tough exterior, Bronson was a very sensitive artist. At heart, he used to find comfort in painting and sculpting during his spare time so that he could relax and be calm for once. We all know Charles Bronson to be the legendary actor who was known for his tough guy persona, and it was the persona that was filled with a sort of rugged charm that captivated audiences. Worldwide throughout his acting career, he portrayed characters who defined strength, masculinity, and a non-nonsense attitude yet behind the scenes. Bronson's relationships were hugely different from his on-screen acts, providing us with a glimpse of a more tender side. To the man behind the tough exterior, Bronson's tough guy persona was not something had developed just to be a good actor. It was